Hey, so the next-gen consoles are finally out. Earlier this week, the Series X dropped on Tuesday, and I'm sure you've probably seen some early coverage by now, but I have completely avoided all the teardowns, comparisons, early gameplays, and finally, the PS5 just came out today. It's Thursday, so we have both the PS5, not the digital edition, the $499 model, and then the Xbox Series X, and it's exciting because it's been over just about 7 years since we've seen the Xbox One and the PS4, and of course, there's derivatives like the Pros. I'm just so excited because I could have opened the Xbox Series X earlier this week. I held off just for this video, so we're staying true to you. Let's jump into it. Which one do we go for first? Let's just comment on the sizes of these boxes. The PS5 is ginormous. Compared to the PS4, the Pro, this is my head, and I like to think that I have a pretty big head, but the PS5 is large, and it's in charge because they fuse the CPU and GPU together, and that's why there's only 825 gigabytes of storage compared to the Xbox Series X with 1 terabyte of storage. And of course, there is the Series S with 500 gigabytes of storage. So it's a little different. The prices are different. All right, I'm gonna put you over here. I'm just hoping not to damage it. It comes with the AMD Ryzen Zen 2 processor with about 10 teraflops of GPU computing, and pay attention to these specs because they matter. On top of that, you get the new DualSense controller, which from what I've heard, not seen, I've stayed true. It looks different, feels different, but I'm interested to see if the Series X controller has anything to show. Ooh, this is exactly why I'm here, why you're here. So what's new on the DualSense controller over the DualShock 4 is you can still play your PS4 games, but PS4 controllers will not work on the PS5. So there's also adaptive triggers which allow developers to really tune into the sensitivities. The stand, which you have to screw once. I know it looks really weird, but we'll be doing that shortly. HDMI 2.1 cable. What else comes in here? Oh, of course, the things we'll never read. I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. Ooh. Nice little USB-C to USB-A cable. And here is the PS5 for $499, whereas a non-standard, the digital version goes for $399. This is what you get. Now, based on the digital or standard, as you see here, there's no difference in specs. Really, it's just a Blu-ray disc player. And dang. In terms of I/O, we got 2 USB-A ports, LAN, HDMI, power, and then on the front, Gen 2 3.1, as well as another USB-A port. And also included is 16 gigabytes of DDR6 RAM over the original PS4, which had 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, there's only 667 actual 3 gigabytes of storage, even though it's quoted at 825. So the big thing with next-gen consoles really this year is, unlike previous years, games weren't hundreds of gigabytes in size. So like Call of Duty, for example, is roughly around 200 gigabytes. And that really means you can put 3 games on your PS5 as is. It is expandable with an M2 PCIe 4th gen chip expansion storage thing. You know, it's not too far away because Microsoft sells one, whereas Sony is still testing and they're not out right now. All right, let's get this box out of the way. What's also a really big step up just from the PS4 to the PS5 is the SSD in here is about 100 times faster than the original PS4. So 5.5 gig read speeds over about 50 to 100 megabytes a second before is, we think about it, we're happy it's a thing, but I don't think we actually get how big of a deal it is. So, dang, this DualSense controller, I'm stoked to actually try out. We're gonna fire the PS5 up in a sec. Let's figure out how to get this thing stood up. It has ray tracing, which the Xbox Series X has too. It's pretty much a standard thing on the Series S and the digital model as well, but don't really get how big this is. This is 15 pounds or right around 7 kilograms in weight. And I still just can't get over the fact of how nice and ergonomic the DualSense controller is over the DualShock 4. You don't really know what you have until you have something new. And it feels nice. The really thumbsticks feel just grippy. And now for the Series X. So $499 over $299 with the Series S. Now, the biggest difference is you're getting only 4 teraflops of GPU computing versus 12 on the Series X. Now, granted, you are saving $200, but you're not getting the true 4K at 120 hertz refresh rate that the Series X and PS5 offer. You only get that at 1440p. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's smaller, weighs just about 10 pounds. And with the Zen 2 chip, I'm pumped to compare both because they technically have the same specs. 16 gigs of DDR6 RAM over 8 gigabytes in the original Xbox One. Let's keep jumping in. Get the AC cord, HDMI, DVR, the Series. Yeah, the grips feel grippier. They got some texture on it and the triggers too. So feeling good, feeling great. Not as good as a DualSense controller. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And that's it. And of course, at launch, I picked up the 1 terabyte Seagate expansion pack, same PCIe 4th gen storage. And it's this little chip that provides an extra terabyte of storage. So we're like, might as well just plug her in. On the back, let's check out the Series X's I/O. We got 2 USB-A ports, HDMI out, and then the storage expansion card. Best $200 you have to spend. They both feel solid. It's been a while since I was back in 2013 feeling the new Xbox One and PS4. If I had to pick on design, got disc tray. I think I'm gonna give it to the Xbox Series X. I like the square. It feels really nice and solid. So they're in blue versus black. Blue looks sharp. I'm not feeling it too much compared to what the DualSense is. I'd rather have a second DualSense controller than just the Xbox Series controller in a different way. So some other new things with the Xbox Series is smart delivery, which ensures the best possible version of any game. So say for example, you bought Halo Infinite on the Xbox One X. Well, you're gonna still be able to play the best version of that game now on your Series S or Series X. On top of that, it's exciting. Project xCloud will maybe eventually be on iOS, but that allows you to play Xbox Game Pass games on Android, whereas Remote Play, don't get too confused, that allows you to play, well, 1S and 1X games on iOS and Android, but not Game Pass games. So let's check out the size comparison, side by side. Whoa, you can instantly get a perspective. The PS5 is that massive. Yeah, definitely the Series X is my favorite of the two, just in terms of looks. So that pretty much does it for the unboxing of both of these guys. Let's go plug them in and let's go check out NBA 2K21. Let's go. Whoa, they're so heavy. So we got the PS5 all plugged in and the DualSense controller just fits like a glove in the hand. We're gonna be testing out 2K21. And I'll say, just the menus being redesigned are quite refreshing. I like it. Feels nice and snappy. So let's go through NBA. And I'm interested to see what the adaptive triggers do in this game. I was reading around and it says like you'll be able to control fatigue and actually like feel the fatigue levels through L2. We'll see it. And this monitor's outputting at 1440p, so it would be nice to get it in 4K, but we'll have to make do. All right, let's win tip off. Come on, come on. These buttons feel nice. Whoa. What are you laughing at, Ev? Huh? What are you laughing at? Yeah, he missed for a reason there. Distracted him. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. Facial expressions look good. Shooting skills, the worst thing you'll see. I don't want to say distinctly compared to 2K20, I can tell a difference, but for the most part, PS5's just handling it like a champ. Both of these consoles will be silent during gameplay, so nope. Not the best 2K player. It needed to be said. All right, now let's try it out on the Xbox Series X. This is the Xbox Series X with the menus that are still the same. 2K21 is still downloading the full game, but we got the demo here, and we're gonna jump in. You guys let me know if you picked up a Series X or a Series S or just went with the PS5. I'm still torn at this moment, leaning towards the Series X. Just a touch late, Graphics look honestly the same, if not better. I don't want to say you can distinguish the extra 2 teraflops like you can distinguish how bad I'm playing. What a just late jump. I was not a basketball player, as you can confirm now. It's just disappointing. Every time I'm just like scheming a shot. Nope. Scheming the rebounds. Ew. But overall graphics look good. And of course, this is just one game, the demo at that. Now, I'm more of an FPS guy, but if you want to play on PSN or Xbox, it's just TechSmartt. I don't know if I'll be playing 2K, the demo, all that much. No, of course not. I'll be playing the full game and just trying to practice these rebound skills. So both the PS5 and Series X both play 2K21 fantastically. They both look great. Graphics are nearly identical. Let me know in the comments which one you leaned for, because it's tough. And honestly, with the 1440p monitor, I should have just went with the Series S and saved the money and put it into storage, because regardless of which decision you make, you're gonna need to get more storage at some point. If not this year, definitely next. Honestly, depending on how many games you have. So that's gonna do it for this one. If you guys are new, make sure you can subscribe. If you enjoyed, drop a like too. Otherwise, see ya.